Sheriff's office!
That the footage that you watched on there, is that a true and accurate depiction of what your body cam recorded on March 19th, 2024 at 214 Ashton Way?
Yes, sir, it is.
Had that video been edited or altered in any way?
No, sir.
All right.
Sheriff's office! Sheriff's office! She's dead on the floor in that room. Hey, I need some gloves. And the only place that gave this subdivision. She ran over the side back towards my vehicle. She might have looked around this way. Might look back going back towards the pond right there. Hold on just a second, look.
The footage from Officer Hunter Lewis's body cam recorded the beginning of a harrowing story. Moments earlier, the Rankin County Sheriff's Office had received a frantic call from a resident of this house who had claimed that his wife was shot in a violent shooting incident.
Okay, sir. Where's your wife? She's dead on the floor of my stepdaughter's room. What's your wife's name? Ashley Smiley.
As they analyzed the crime scene searching for the runaway suspect, the officer and his team stood on the brink of life and death, unsure of the gravity of the bloodbath that waited for them on the other side of the house.
Action, go for the map box! It's a 357. Does she have any kind of... What's her name? Carley Gregg. Carley Gregg? How old is she? 14. She'll be 15 next month.
The horrific sight of the man crying in pain and the man lying injured on the floor wasn't the only target of the pre-planned shooting incident. The officers had found another victim inside the house. The body, lying lifelessly on the bedroom floor, was shot multiple times and drenched in a pool of fresh blood. The killer had made sure that there were no chances for the second victim to survive. What made this case even more tragic was the heartbreaking reality of the shooter's relationship with the victims. It was a betrayal that cut deep. On March 19, 2024, deputies arrived at 214 Ashton Way in Brandon, Mississippi, to make a grim discovery. Ashley Nicole Smiley was found dead after having suffered gunshot wounds to the face. The injured man who had suffered gunshots to his shoulder was identified as Ashley's husband. Heath Smiley had dodged the violent attack by the barest of margins. Born on April 11, 1983 in Stuart, Florida, the 40-year-old Ashley was known for her exceptional command of mathematics. She was a dedicated teacher at Northwest Rankin High School and mother to Carley Gregg, a 14-year-old. Her husband, Heath, was Carley's stepfather. Their daughter was known as a gifted student in her school. The recognition of her intelligence and the constant words of praise she got from her teachers and loved ones made her feel special at first. But as time went on, that attention began to create a deep sense of isolation for Carley. It had become both a blessing and a curse. Over time, her loneliness had grown heavier. Mixed with the superiority complex that had been instilled in her since childhood, it wasn't surprising that she would become a troubled teen. Carley Gregg was only 14 years old when she was alleged to have shot her mother inside her family house in Mississippi in March 2024. The shocking act forever altered the lives of everyone involved.
And who did he tell you shot him?
His stepdaughter.
And what type of, did he identify her name?
Carley Gregg.
Okay.
When Officer Hunter found Ashley's body in her room, he was taken aback by the scene that was in front of his eyes. The officer had just returned after calling medical assistance for Heath, who lay on the porch of the house worried more about his wife inside than his shoulder injury. With the stepfather's claim of Carley's involvement in the bloody killing spree, the officer had a hard time processing the shocking information that was ringing in his head. Was it possible that a 14-year-old girl had aimed a gun at her mother and pulled the trigger until she made sure Ashley exhaled her last breath? But as he prepared to check for any signs of life, he revealed a chilling detail. Ashley's face was covered with a towel, and her arms were crossed around her body. As soon as he lifted the towel from her face, he was met with the haunting sight of her severely mutilated face. 2 bullets had ripped through her face, while a third had struck her chin. There was no chance Ashley could have survived such a brutal and unexpected attack.
I did. I initially checked for a pulse, and I couldn't feel a pulse, so I lifted the towel to see what kind of see what had happened, and that's when I noticed she had been shot in the face.
This proved that she didn't flee right after shooting her mother. She had time to hide her faceless head with a towel and plan her next moves. It was a cold and calculated move that sent shivers down the spine of the investigators. Her stepfather, Heath, was the next target on her hit list. With the plan of attacking him by surprise, she needed a way to lure him home sooner than he usually did. According to investigators, she had used her mother's phone to message her stepfather. Pretending to be Ashley on the phone, who had been long dead by that time, Carley texted Heath, casually asking when he would return. The teenager had set a well-sorted trap to kill her 39-year-old stepfather. When Heath returned home, she was set in her position to pull the trigger on him. Before he could fully open the front door, he heard shots fired. He barely had time to realize what was happening before bullets were fired at his face in a split second. His quick reflexes saved him, but one of the bullets hit his shoulder, leaving him injured and in shock. Heath had no time to think. He quickly reached for Carley, trying to snatch the gun away from her hands before anything worse could happen. After a tense struggle, he was able to wrestle the lethal weapon away from her. It all began when Carley feared that her secret life was about to be exposed. Her mother was no longer in the dark, and one of Carley's friends had grown concerned about the shady activities the teen was involved in. She had been introduced to marijuana, and in order to keep smoking it without getting in trouble, she would lie and use burner phones to hide this double life from her mother. At one point, Carley's friend had enough of her smoking habits and constant need to stay high. He felt it was time Miss Ashley knew the truth about her daughter. Surprisingly, he realized it the same day this tragic incident was set to unfold, determined to find out if the rumors she'd been hearing about her daughter were true. While searching, she discovered vape pens hidden in her daughter's belongings, confirming her worst suspicions. Worried about the consequences she would have to face as her life was exposed in front of her mother, Carley, in a rush of emotions that were running high through her body, went straight to her parents' bedroom. She knew her mother kept a gun beside her side of the bed for years. Within minutes, Carley had a .357 caliber Magnum handgun hidden behind her back. The CCTV footage inside the house recorded every moment as the teen returned home from school. The dogs were waiting inside the house, unaware of the dark plan she was about to set in motion. She first tiptoed into the kitchen and peeked into her bedroom, checking to see if Ashley was still inside. With the gun gripped tightly into position, she then moved toward her mother and, without a second thought, committed the horrifying act of firing 3 shots directly at Ashley's head. The surveillance camera captured the chilling screams of Ashley as she lost her life, even before she could comprehend what had just happened. Carley's calm demeanor as she stepped out of her room after killing Ashley was chilling. She hid the gun behind her back as if hiding it from the dogs, then casually sat on a stool before eventually messaging Heath, "When will you be home, honey?" However, the shocking twists in this case are far from over. Dressed in a Nirvana band t-shirt, she texted one of her friends too, asking her to visit her house because of an emergency. While waiting for her friend, she hid one of the CCTV cameras to erase the evidence of the horrifying act she had just committed. When her friend arrived, Carley asked if she was squeamish around dead bodies. With a chilling calmness, she said, "Have you ever seen a dead body? My mom is in there," before leading her to the bedroom to reveal Ashley's lifeless body as if it were a trophy on display. When Heath arrived home, the friend was in the backyard. After a failed attempt to kill him, Carley fled the scene with her friend. She escaped by jumping off the fence in her backyard. The shooting was reported at 5 p.m. Additional officers and a helicopter from the Mississippi Highway Patrol were called in to search for a runaway teenager in the neighborhood. At around 5:30 p.m., Carley was found not far from... The day after the incident, the Rankin County Sheriff announced that Carley Gregg was validated as an adult and taken to the Rankin County Adult Detention Center. On March 20th, 2024, she made her first court appearance, initially pleading not guilty to the charges against her. The judge had held her on a $1 million bond, an amount the accused person has to pay in order to be released from jail while waiting for their trial. The bond serves as a guarantee that the accused won't skip the court dates. Claiming her juvenile client's strong academic record and no prior criminal history, her attorney asked for bond reduction, which the judge denied on the basis of the high probability of conviction. Her attorney also brought up mental health evaluation in the discussion, to which Judge David Morrow said, "I do believe that Miss Gregg does pose a special danger to others. The heinous nature of the crime, the premeditation that seems to have been involved here is pronounced. It's severe, and it does concern me that there is a danger to the community. I think anybody could argue that to kill another human being, there is going to be a mental component involved." After a pretrial hearing, Carley Gregg's trial for killing her mother began on September 16, 2024. During the trial, many new findings related to this case surfaced. The prosecution began their statement by emphasizing that their intention wasn't to judge Carley for her secret life, but rather to hold her accountable for the crimes she committed.
You'll hear that she had secret weed vape pens and that she was secretly smoking those vape pens and getting high before going to school at times. Ladies and gentlemen, that's not why we're here though. We're here because of what she did on March the 19th, 2024.
The response of the defense attorney to this statement was that they knew it wasn't a "who has done it" case. They were there to find the reason behind why Carley committed the crime. The defense team argued that the Gregg family had unresolved mental health problems that led to the daughter taking extreme measures. They further claimed that she never had any desire to cause harm to her parents.
This is a why case. Why did it happen? Why did this exceptional child with no history of violence, who was loved by her friends, her teachers, her parents, who had a good home life, who loved her mother, why did she shoot her mom? Why did she shoot at her stepfather?
Carley's 16-year-old classmate, who was earlier worried about her well-being, described her as a genius in court. He further testified that whenever she faced trouble at home, she would harm herself. It wasn't just a coincidence that Ashley decided to search her daughter's room the same day her friend had thought about telling Ashley about Carley's drug use. The classmate admitted in court that he was the one who had informed the mother about the vape pens and burner phone. On the day of the tragic incident, Carley had FaceTimed the same friend, appearing visibly upset. When the friend warned her not to harm herself or anyone, she chillingly responded, "Too late." Her other friends disclosed that there was a noticeable change in Carley's behavior leading up to the incident. She frequently experimented with marijuana and mushrooms and even consumed hand sanitizer. The prosecution presented solid evidence to back their argument that her actions were premeditated. Among the key evidence was a journal in Carley's possession that revealed her troubling thoughts. Inside, she had penned disturbing messages like, "It's okay to be evil," and "You don't need family." Was the fear of being caught with pens and a burner phone enough to push the teen into committing such a chilling act of violence? Were her parents truly that strict when it came to their daughter's shady activities? The unsettling thought that there's more to this case lingers in the air, leaving everyone with the question, was this truly a result of mental health struggles, or was there something deeper at play? In the hopes of avoiding a lengthy prison sentence, Carley chose to pursue an insanity defense. She opted to go to trial rather than accept the plea deal that sentenced her to 40 years in the Mississippi Department of Corrections. Mississippi laws allow a defendant to be acquitted if it's proven that they were incapable of understanding the seriousness or consequences of their actions. During the trial, several psychiatrists described Carley as a girl battling severe mental illness in the time leading up to the murder. One psychiatrist even claimed that she had been hearing voices in her head. The psychiatrist further stated that her symptoms flared up when her mother found out about her addiction. Ashley's approval had always been important to Carley, and the moment her mother found the pens, it triggered a full-blown crisis in her mind, setting off alarm bells she couldn't ignore. When it was Carley's stepfather Heath's turn to testify in court, he called her a sweet little girl who didn't remember anything about the shooting. He described her behavior as something he had never seen before, not even in movies. He expressed his belief that she wasn't herself during the incident, and doubted whether she even recognized him. Despite everything that had happened, Heath mentioned that he and Carley still communicate daily, and their relationship remains on good terms. The public sentiments were outrageous after videos of Carley laughing in the court had spread across the internet. During the fourth day of the trial, she was seen giggling after a member of her defense team scribbled something on paper. Her biological father, Carley Gregg, revealed in an interview that he shared the sentiments with the state attorney that Carley knew what she was doing when she pulled the trigger of that handgun. While feeling ashamed, he said, "That girl knew right from wrong. That girl is not insane. That was a very dumb defense if you asked me."
Ashamed, embarrassed, angry, upset, very sad. I loved her too. You know, we were married for almost a decade. You know.
Within a week of the trial, on 20th September 2024, the jury had found Carley guilty of the charges of first-degree murder, attempted murder, and tampering with evidence. She was sentenced to life in prison.
Count 2. We, the jury, find the defendant, Carley Madison Gregg, guilty of attempted murder as charged in the indictment. Count 3. We, the jury, find the defendant, Carley Madison Gregg, guilty of tampering with evidence as charged in the indictment. Please be seated, Ms. Gregg. Ladies and gentlemen, the jury is custom for the court to poll the jury. I have to do it each time. And for each count, I'm not being rude.
Dissatisfied with the court's ruling, the defense team filed a motion on September 26, 2024. They presented new evidence involving her biological father, Kevin, who spoke about her auditory hallucinations during an interview. Carley's attorney requested either a new trial or that the jury's verdict be set aside, arguing that the previous trial was riddled with errors. But as per the latest news, no hearing had been scheduled for this motion.